Hi everyone, welcome to game 2 of the match between Lasker and Marshall. Now, as many of you may know, Marshall was known as an aggressive attacking player. That's why there's so many aggressive openings named after him, like the Marshall Gambit in the Roy Lopez, the Marshall Attack in the Semi-Slav. These are all pretty aggressive lines. Emanuel Lasker honestly doesn't have that many openings named after him. He has one relatively boring line in the Queen's Gambit Declined, but for the most part, there's not too many Lasker variations. He just played pretty solid chess and kind of played what most other people played. Also, he generally didn't play the same openings every game, or I don't know, just for some reason, Marshall, who, while he had a big impact on chess and chess history, doesn't have as many does have more openings named after him, mainstream openings especially, than Lasker. I find that kind of interesting. But Lasker was more of a all-around player. He could play what his opponent was weak at. So Marshall's an aggressive attacking player. He's probably not going to let Marshall get too many strong attacks, or he's going to take advantage of that somehow. And in this game, you're going to see how. So knight to e4 is played, and it's Lasker's move. Lasker plays queen to f4. So now I'm going to give you guys two choices for Marshall. Choice number one, play queen to d5. And this entails a pawn sacrifice because queen g4 check followed by queen takes g7 would win a pawn. The second option, simply trade queens and play this endgame. Yeah, we have an isolated pawn, and white might be able to attack it, but we also have more space because of that pawn. And maybe we could play something like king b8 and knight to b4 and attack the c2 pawn as well. So the question is, which of those two would you choose? Well, Marshall made the wrong choice. And this was one of Marshall's weaknesses, his kind of love for aggressive, exciting chess. It meant that sometimes he was not that objective. And he did not want to trade queens, especially after losing the first game. He wanted to go queen d5. He enticed Lasker to take a pawn, but Lasker actually enticed Marshall to give up that pawn. He didn't take on h7. Wonder why. Oh, knight f6, followed by queen takes f3. So he played queen h6, knight to d2. This looks scary, does it not? However, after queen takes f3, knight, or I thought knight to f4, but g3 also works. And white is up a pawn. Black is trying to attack, but white is pushing him away. And all of a sudden, black's attack does not look very impressive anymore. And the game continued on, but Lasker is winning. He took on h4. And he has two extra pawns. Admittedly, they're double pawns on the h-file, but these pawns are going to distract the black pieces, and white is going to be able to go to the other side of the board and cause havoc. And there goes the d-pawn. Well, not yet, but soon. Soon it will go. Oh, undermining. And now white has... Oh, look at that move. Seems unnecessary, but cool anyway. And these two passed pawns are just not stoppable. It's funny that this game is still going on, but like king takes, knight c6, so he resigned. But the key here was this one moment and this one decision where he should have just traded queens, and black is basically just fine here. No big problems for white. Maybe you could put some pressure on this pawn, but black has all the pieces developed. The knights are well placed. It's not going to be very easy for black to get any strong play here. However, in the game, the pawn sacrifice just didn't work, you know, and Marshall's kind of aggressive instincts are betraying him here. I mean, you can't just checkmate Lasker like he's a potser. You have to play objective, sound chess. And he didn't do that here. He went for it, and it just doesn't work. This pawn sacrifice does not work. Houdini has white as being up about a half a pawn here. So, I mean, yeah, black has some compensation for the pawn, But in reality, he should have just traded queens, been happy with maybe a draw, and then came back the next day and tried to get revenge then with the white pieces. So now Lasker is up 2-0 and off to an amazing start in this match. See you tomorrow with another game. Bye-bye.